leveraging AI for Maltese digital tools.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks. It's an honor to be here. In my presentation, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the work that we're doing and hopefully give you some ideas. Well, the idea is just to get you to think about how to think of data in terms of AI, right? One of the things is that we hear all the time, data's gold, we all want more data. And in reality, for big tech, data is easy to come by, right? They have access to it through their platforms. We're basically giving them data for free all the time. So really, it's not a problem for them. The problem is for small players, right? And well, my expertise is more to do with language processing. So my area of interest is creating software that can process, understand, and generate language. And I focus a lot specifically on Maltese. Now, as you can imagine, for English, it's not a problem because there are millions, billions of people generating data in English all the time from around the world. Various degrees, right, with various degrees, but really and truly, English has become a worldwide language, which when we go to Maltese, it's spoken by a very small area, very small amount of people. I mean, okay, we have relatively a high population in such a condensed space, but still very, very small when you compare to languages like English. And there are ways of trying to get all the data that's available online, but really and truly what ends up happening is that a lot of data is automatically translated. So it cannot just be scraping of data that's available, because when that happens, when you do that, what happens is that you might miss certain cultural and linguistic nuances that are occurring in that data when it's automatically translated. So, and as you can see, Maltese, in terms of the size of resources and what we have available compared to other European languages, is right at the bottom of the list. So it's really a small language. And just to give you an idea, here is a bit the data sizes that big language models have been trained on, and these are not even our latest language models, okay? And this is the size of our Maltese model, just to give you an appreciation of where we're standing. Our model is affectionately called BERT2. It's a bird-based language model, and we've trained it for a number of tasks: named entity recognition, sentiment analysis, part of speech tagging, and dependency parsing. And these are considered to be more classification tasks, not generation tasks. But one thing is that we can use this language model even in the context of a chatbot, for instance. And this is ongoing work at the moment. But one of the things that we want to do is what is referred to as cross-lingual transfer, right? So admittedly, we don't have enough data in Maltese. So what we could do is get data from languages like Italian and English and learn the context, right? Because there is a lot of similarity with English and with Italian and English in Maltese. But there's also Arabic, right? Which has a strong, or had in the past, a strong influence on the Maltese language. But one of the main problems is the script. So from a computational perspective, we can do cross-lingual transfer from Italian and English because the script is very similar. But for Arabic, it's much more challenging. So the question is, how do we get closer? How do we try to get Arabic closer to Maltese? So one of the approaches that we've taken is transliteration, where basically we're converting. In the first round of experiments, what we did is convert Maltese into Arabic script and then process that Maltese version in the new Arabic script in Arabic models, which are much bigger than Maltese models. And we had very good results on the whole, better than baseline models. Now what we want to do is actually go the other direction and convert Arabic into Maltese script. So here the challenge will lie that, for instance, in Arabic, certain vowels are left out, especially in the writing system. So there isn't a simple one-to-one mapping, right? But our argument is that it doesn't really matter, right? Because as long as there is more data, the whole idea is to increase the amount of data and then to try as much as we can to have that Arabic a little bit closer looking to Maltese. It doesn't need to be 100% perfect. We accept that there is noise in the data and that is not clean at all. But we argue that it's going to be a bigger advantage to building a model, a large model for Maltese, right? If you remember the figures that I showed you, we're way behind in terms of size of data. So any little amount of data that we can get from wherever is going to be an advantage, as long as we make it related closer to our actual problem, right, which is processing Maltese. So our idea is that eventually we will be able to transfer this to even other type of problems. For instance, speech understanding, speech generation, or speech translation, right, where we have a base model that is actually more multilingual, and therefore it reflects better the situation with Maltese, because Maltese, like many languages, has a lot of influence from other languages. So we cannot see a language in isolation. So my invitation is actually just this. Think about the problem and go outside of the box, right? Because one of the problems is that we tend to try to find solutions to our problems by thinking about the problem without actually thinking about the actual data. And even with data, we can try to think in a different way and see what type of data we can actually leverage for our AI systems, and that are not necessarily 100% fitting clean into the problem, but rather that can be a little bit diverse and a little bit different, introducing some new aspects, right? And with that, I'd like to close my presentation. Thank you.